most of you already know because you've worked here, have been here for a while, but I think it's important just to walk through it. So we are Division One now, and this year is the first year we're going to be eligible for first year to be eligible for postseason play. And the university has changed quite a bit. In the introduction, I was involved with us moving from Division One to Division Three to Two to One, and the campus was very different when we were Division Three and Division Two. So if you look at the information that's on there as far as the overview, where we are today with eight college system, used to be four when we were Division Three, over 43,000 students. We were in the neighborhood of 10 to 12,000 students when we were Division Three. We're basically a public Ivy League now, and I like to say that so people understand not who we are, but we also recruit athletes that fit the academic profile of being a public Ivy League. So that's real important to us. And you see the academic rankings. And I just want to say, when I look at the academic rankings, and I think you would all agree that for us to be doing this and the fact that we're only 64 years old is a big compliment to the university and the statement as a whole. And to me, it tells us that the future is bright. And then when we look at the economic impact in San Diego, we can see that we're the #1 largest employer. So that's just some basic overview. Since it's a retired group, I don't know how long some people have been in retirement, but things have changed quite a bit. You see the history here as far as the different levels of competition, the D3, D1, and D2. The conference itself, the Big West, consists of 5 UC schools, 5 Cal States, and the University of Hawaii. So it's very much a California conference. And we offer 23 sports, and I think that was mentioned in the introduction. You can see the breakdown of 11 women and 12 men, and overall 30 national championships. So we've been quite successful in the past, and I'm expecting that we'll be quite successful in the Big West Conference, and I'll talk about that a little bit more. Next slide. And the reason I think we'll be successful, if we look at this past season, looking at men's basketball and what they accomplished, being second in the Big West, going to a postseason tournament. Coach of the Year, Earl. Eric is probably one of the better coaches in the league, and I'm going to go as far as saying probably in the country. He's a phenomenal coach. And last year we played San Diego State here at our place, and we lost by 1 point in the last couple of seconds. But beyond that, we were ahead of San Diego State with the exception of 28 seconds in the entire game. So it was a very competitive game. It was a sellout with fans and students, and we're looking forward to playing San Diego State again this year at their place. More than likely, because of that outstanding contest we had with State, they will probably never come to UCSD again to play us, but we'll see how that goes. And hopefully you can come out to support us. Baseball had a great season during 2023. In fact, they won the regular season conference championship, which is a powerful statement considering the national recognition of the Big West Conference. Also, Coach of the Year, Eric Newman. I just want to make a general comment too, as far as coaches. One of the reasons we've been so successful in the Big West is because we do have outstanding coaches. I believe that with this being our first year of being eligible for postseason play, that we'll do quite well. And I'm saying that because last year, if we were eligible for postseason competition, either conference-wise or NCAA, 21 of our 23 sports would have qualified for postseason play. So that's a great foundation for us looking to the future, in particularly this year. Next slide. So as far as the program itself, we refer to our athletes as scholar athletes. And we do that because over 83% of our athletes have a GPA cumulative that's above a 3.0. And to elaborate on that, the last time we looked at the overall GPA of our scholar athletes compared to the general student population was a 3.32. Our athletes, it was a 3.38. So we're continuing with our focus on the academics and making that a priority for us. But as you can see, we can be successful in the classroom as well as in athletic competition. We have the highest among all of Division I and II graduation rates, which is 90+%. I have the Scholar Athlete Affinity groups on here. It's just a small example of one of the things we try to do, looking at our core value of inclusion, is to create a sense of belonging for all of our athletes. So these are 3 groups to help with that particular core value of inclusion as we work as a program. And then developing professional careers basically means helping our athletes as they graduate to get into different fields, or particularly looking at athletics. So working with the athletes as far as developing professional careers is another thing that we do. This slide, and before I talk about this slide, this one reflects the connection that we had in the most recent Olympics as far as connections. But before I talk about this, I just want to throw out there so everybody hears this from me. One of the things I often say is that athletics is much more than games and competition. And I say that for a variety of reasons, but the main ones I want to discuss is that we see athletics as a laboratory for personal development. And that is because of the things that they learn as athletes when they compete, whether it's time management, setting up goals, how to deal with victory, how to deal with defeat, resilience, working with individuals from different groups. So we really see what our main contribution to the university and our athletes is this laboratory of personal development. And then to go beyond that idea, more than games and competition, we help a lot with unifying the campus school spirit, particularly with 8 colleges. We also help with the marketing of the campus and branding. We also help with community engagement, having people in our community come on campus, as well as alumni involvement. And last but not least, the national recognition that we get by being on television and other exposure. So I just wanted to throw that out there so that you look at athletics as much more than games and competition. The slide you have in front of you points out the individuals that were involved in the most recent Olympics. The areas that are described there, we had a decathlon athlete, the gentleman in the yellow shirt is an athlete in our was an athlete in our program, graduated in 2016. Mike Lewis is one of the photographers. The green shirt is also a photographer. Julie Swale was a former All-American for us in water polo. And then Matt, Matt Oosh, I call it because I always mess up his last name. But Matt is our current head men's water polo coach. And they were recipients of the bronze medal this year, which was a major accomplishment for us. So the athletics goes beyond just UC San Diego and the national aspect. We're also involved from a global standpoint. And I would expect we'll have some people involved with the 2028 Olympics in LA. Next slide. When we look at how we operate, there's two areas that just want to talk about that falls in the category of cutting edge innovation. And innovation, again, is one of our core values. When we look at athletic performance, we're one of the few schools that really looks at it in terms of a collaboration with these 6 bullets that you see in front of you: the strength and conditioning, the mental health, mindfulness, nutrition, care and prevention, and data-driven performance. They all work in a collaborative manner versus silos, which happens often at many other places. And then when you look at our business partnerships, we're getting involved with a lot of different businesses on and off of campus. Pacquiolin is one of the nationally known organizations that works with tickets. JMI Sports is also a group that's helping us with corporate sponsorships. Also, the president of that group happens to be a former baseball player for UC San Diego. And then ESPN, we do a lot of things with ESPN since that's the station that we're on predominantly. And then UC San Diego Health and the credit union are examples of business partners that we're currently involved in. And if any of you are involved in a business and you think you may want to become a partner of ours, please let me know. The next slide. Our academic connections, we really try to make sure we're connected to the academic side of the house as much as possible. So we have a number of academic internships where students are getting credit for academic independent study. We also have a number of student employment opportunities, particularly looking at the communication side of the campus where they work with us with the ESPN Plus and video production and marketing and so forth. So a lot of students can work with us for employment as well as academic credit. Scholar athletes, foreign tours. Our athletes, once every 4 years, are allowed to go on a foreign tour. So most recently, we had our basketball teams go to Italy last year. This past summer, we had women's water polo go to Spain. We also had women's soccer go to Croatia. And when we make those foreign tour trips, we often collaborate with our international study abroad group on campus. And the other part with the academic connection is that we do have a faculty athletic board of advisors that works with us and our athletes to help with that connection on the academic side with the faculty as well as the students getting the excuse from classes and things along those lines as they participate in athletics. So we really have focused on not just being on island by itself, but to be connected. Ways where you can get involved, and that's the main reason that I'm talking to you as a group, not just to educate you on what's happening here at UCSD, but also to suggest different ways you can get involved. So whether it's attending an athletic event, and that's real important for our athletes to get that home crowd advantage, whether it's supporting our scholar athletes, and you can do that in a number of different ways, whether it's scholarships or internships if you happen to have a business, or our athletes may be able to work with you as far as mentoring any clubs that you have. So there's a lot of different ways to support our athletes. Community engagement. If you have some projects where you think it would be helpful for our athletes to be involved, right now we have our athletes involved in a lot of community engagement activities. So that's another way you can be involved with us. And as I already mentioned earlier, corporate sponsorship for us as a program would be helpful as well. So that's how you can get involved. And next slide, but I think that might be it. Is that right, Danielle?
Yep, that is it. Yep.
I think that's it. And I went through that rather quickly, but I really just want to emphasize how excited we are to be Division I, first year of being eligible for postseason play. I am predicting that we'll be in the the top third of the conference on a regular basis. So we'll be a leader in the conference. So come out and support us. Danielle, you can help me with this because we have different ticket prices for our ticketed events, and I believe we have a special price for seniors slash retirees. So if you would just share that information, I'd appreciate it.
Yeah, we're working with Vanya on offering discounted rates for members of the Retirement Association. So we'll be able to get the information out as soon as possible, especially with basketball season starting in just a couple weeks.
So I'll stop there and see if there's any questions.
Rick Boland in the chat, and then Christine, you can go after. Has the professionalization of college athletics had any impact on UCSD's programs?
Okay, I will say that the impact of professionalism, and I assume that what you mean by that is now that athletes can actually be paid. It hasn't had an impact on us till this point. And what you're referring to is called the national, national, help me, I'm drawing a blank. NIL, national, Danielle, Richard, somebody?
Name, image, and likeness.
Yeah, there you go. Name, image, and likeness. Thank you. That program has caused the college athletics to change where athletes are actually getting paid to participate based on name, image, and likeness. That's not something we have been involved in, but I will say it's something that in order to be competitive moving forward, we will get involved and paying the athlete is bothersome, but it's where we are as a collegiate program. So starting next year or the year after, we will have a program where we can offer funds to athletes when their name, image, and likeness is being used. So that will impact us. It's also impacted us on the other side, in that in the last 2 years, we've lost several athletes because they've gone to other D1 schools that are offering the funding for name, image, and likeness. So it will impact us moving forward.
Thank you. Christine, you had a question?
Yes. Thank you so much for the insightful presentation, Earl.
Thank you.
I am here with Vanya, together with Vanya, a little bit in representation of the Emeriti and the Retirement Association. And my question for you, I mean, aside from buying tickets cheaper, is there any athletic involvement that is possible at UCSD for us, the retirees? And the other question I had is about the medical component of athletics on campus. I mean, do you have somebody who does massage, who does chiropractic, who does medical surveys at all?
Yeah. So I'll answer the second question first. As far as our athletes and medical service provided to our athletes, we do have individuals that work with our athletes as far as medical attention, acupuncture, things along those lines. I'm not so sure about the massage aspect, but we do offer most of the things that you would find common. I could follow up as far as massages to find out if that is something that we do. But basically, we do provide medical and athletic enhancement exercises for the athletes. Your first question, as far as what we do as an athletic department for retirees, as far as, I think you were referring to exercises or classes or things along those lines. That's handled more on the recreation side. So within UC San Diego, you have the athletic department, then you have UCSD Recreation, and they provide a number of classes for different groups, including the retirees, involving exercise and a number of other different things. So I would just reach out to UC San Diego Recreation to find out what activities they offer. I did mention tickets as one one thing, but also within the context of athletic events, we could provide a social event for the retirees. So, i.e., you as a group, you want to come to a particular game, we can set you up in our skybox so you can, break bread with other retirees and get to know each other. So besides the game, we could set it up so that it becomes a social function as well. Does that help, Christine?
Oh, it does, very much
And
so.
Chris,
Yeah. And
Christine,
because I was on the senior master's team at UCSD in swimming. So
Oh, okay.
that's,
So you say was, you're not doing it anymore?
oh, I do it on my own now. No longer as a competitive issue, no, but I do swim. Yeah,
Congratulations.
thank you.
and Christine, Danielle is ahead of the game because she contacted us about that event to watch a basketball game as a group. So more information coming soon on that.
Anybody else? Because I can't see the screen as well as you, so.
And I have seen you on the other side as well. I was the educational program coordinator in Madrid for a while. And I
Oh,
knew about all the good
Okay.
things you do.
okay.
Chris,
Well-
a question. Are there any future plans for adding certain sports that aren't already at UCSD?
Good question. Adding sports. So right now we have 23 sports, and we're not looking at adding any sports at this time. I would say if we were to add any sport, it would be probably beach volleyball on the women's side. That's a common sport now at the intercollegiate level, particularly in California. Within the Big West, we actually have a number of schools that offer beach volleyball, but that would be the one that's probably more likely than any other. And a lot of that is primarily because of the financial responsibilities of adding a sport. And when we look at the finances of intercollegiate athletics and the fundraising that we need to do, we'd have to be very prudent when we look at adding an additional sport. There has been conversation about women's golf because that's one of the sports where we don't have the traditional male female. We just have men's golf. We've looked at that, and that would be rather expensive. So if somebody wanted to help fund that, then we would potentially add women's golf as an additional sport.
You mentioned a student being in the Big West conference and being top third. Does that mean you will be putting more effort into any kind of recruitment process for incoming student athletes? What would that look like?
So with us being in the top third, it really means a continuation and maybe getting a little better, but a continuation of doing what we're currently doing, because we are recruiting the athletes that are the best fit for us as a program. In fact, I'll just say when we recruit athletes, and we've been doing a great job, I like to say we recruit by the ABCs. We look for an athlete that can handle the academic rigors of UC San Diego. We look for the athlete that's the best fit for our program. And then we also look for athletes that have great character so they can represent the university and the athletic department. So when I say the top third, I'm saying that based on our overall success that we've had so far, which tells me that we're doing things right. So I don't really see us doing anything much differently other than the fact that we'll start to be able to attract some more athletes to come to UC San Diego that we may have lost in the past because we were not eligible for postseason play. So we had a number of athletes would say, well, I'd rather go somewhere where we have the opportunity to compete at the end of the season. So it's really based on what we're doing now and the outstanding coaches that we have in our program. Anybody else? I will say with this group, it's interesting that the retirees don't like to show their faces compared to other Zooms. Yeah, I'm just throwing that out there. I see a lot of names with very few
I'm-
faces. That's fine.
I'm surprised Joe Watson is not showing up. He's usually very into it. No?
It's funny you did that, Christine, because I was really targeting that at Joe as well. But he's busy, I'm sure. Any other questions?
And I had one more, which was in the past, there was some, not conflict, but I guess some opposition to athletics via the academic side of UCSD. Do you still see that being kind of a hurdle to expanding athletic programs or recreation programs in general? Or do you think there's more of an understanding now of the importance of athletics?
There's clearly more of an understanding now, and a lot of that goes back to what I said about athletics being more than games and competition. And to take it a step further, the support from our chancellor has been phenomenal as far as recognizing the role that we play, and he's incorporated those thoughts and messages out to the campus in terms of supporting us. He's also the chair of the presidents and chancellors group for the Big West, and he's also on the NCAA board of directors, which is a 4-year commitment that just started this year. So there's much more support and understanding that athletics can bring a lot to the table outside of just the games and competition.
Thank you. Are there other questions? And I see Joe turned on his camera. So, hello,
Since
Joe.
you embarrassed me, Earl, I will ask a question. Can you say a little bit about the relationship and working relationship with the academic senate and the faculty?
Yeah, so right, the working relationship with the faculty has been good as far as supporting us. In fact, we've just officially worked with the academic senate on creating a missed class policy for our athletes that they've endorsed. So that relationship has been good. As you know, in the past, that was a challenge, but right now we're in a very good place. And I think, again, having the chancellor actively involved in his role as the chair of the Big West and now a member of the NCAA board of directors, which is actually a major decision-making group of the NCAA, the relationship has been much better than it was in the past. Thanks for that, Joe. Any other questions? The only other thing I'll add is if you belong to any other particular group, community groups, or whatever the organization might be, and you think it would be beneficial for me to talk to that group about who we are, because one of the things I'll be doing a lot of this year and moving forward is just getting out to the community and to talk about athletics, because I've been surprised, and this is actually going into our 5th year of D1, but I've been surprised at the number of times that I've run into individuals and they didn't know we were Division I. So if you have any groups that you think it would be groups or clubs or whatever that you think it would be beneficial for me to reach out to them, I'd be happy to do that.
Thank you so much. I don't see any other questions, but we do appreciate you popping up and telling us more about this. I do think it's an important thing to know about, and we are looking forward to that RA game that we'll be attending. Danielle will work with you more on that. More information coming soon. Thank you so much, Director Edwards.